Hello, beerreviews.com. We have another one of these totally unique Shiner Family Reunion 6-packs that we did a review on already, and then we're going through and slowly getting out the reviews of the beers we have not done before. This beer is the Shiner Premium Beer. That's all it says on the front of it. This beer was born on 1909. This beer is over 100 years old, which is totally awesome. It's kind of cool because they give this long description about how in the early days the bottles of premium is what this is called was displayed was proudly displayed a cotton ball on the label as a tribute to it's a tongue twister, the hardworking Czech and German immigrants who farmed the cotton fields around the regions of Texas. After a long day in the field, these farmers often found a cold beer of Shiner Premium waiting on a fence post, which is pretty cool, which soon became known as one of the local favorites. Now it's back. We reintroduce it back to you, Shiner Premium, a beer that will take you back and treat you right. Prost. So, a lot of cool history, been around for over 100 years. I think a lot of beers, one of the really cool things about what's happening with craft beers these days is people are realizing there's a lot of history behind them. And the breweries are realizing that if you bring back some of this and explain the history behind them, consumers like you and I are more willing to try them and buy them. So this was in the Shiner 6-pack. It was $9 for the 6-pack. This particular beer is 4.4 ABVs, which would make sense. You've been in the fields all day long, sweating your butt off, and you just want to have a good beer, with not a lot of alcohol content. Well, there you go. This is a twist-off cap. All the Shiner beers are that way. I always naturally pull this out, but there you have it there. IBUs are only 13, so I'm kind of expecting kind of that German-style beer, very light lager, very, very filtered, not too carbonated, extremely smooth and easy to drink. Just something that kind of quenches your thirst. There you have it. Pretty light. Not a lot of carbonation. Little thin, white, frothy, foamy head on the top. As clear as can be. I can see the camera through this. You might even be able to see my face through this glass. Definitely has what I would call that European smell. If you want to talk about the macro brews with Heineken, Amstel, things like that, it kind of has that kind of German malty to it. Exactly what I would have anticipated. A little bit of a sweet background, probably from corn. Very lagery, very smooth. Kind of has that effervescence in your mouth from the carbonation. It's just very refreshing, very drinkable. Doesn't bite at all. It shouldn't. It only has an IBU of 13, so it's not very bitter. It's just that traditional lager. It's good. I mean, this is one of those beers that before micro beers and craft beers or whatever you want to call them came around, this was one of the staples that helped make breweries famous, that helped make beer famous. This is one of those beers that 100 years ago, people were dying to get their hands on, and they're out working fields all day long instead of sitting in front of computers all day long, and this was it. And I totally see why. It's easy to drink, it's smooth, it's got a nice flavor to it. It smells good. It kind of has that sweet, corny smell to it. And it doesn't have a lot of alcohol content, which I think is important because this huge boom in high-gravity beers, that's recent. It wasn't like that, 100 years ago at all. Back then they would, do moonshine and liquor if they were going to, drink some of the high ABVs like that. So good beer, a lot of background to it, great history to it. Glad they brought it back. Shiner does a great job with all their beers. For the most part, I've had 2 or 3 that I wasn't too impressed with, but this is good. I mean, it's just really drinkable, great history, great flavor. Microbeerreviews.com, we rate beers from 1 to 5. I had to give it at least a 3.5. I mean, it's just well done, well balanced, exactly what it's supposed to be. Let us know what you think. Leave comments on our YouTube channel and our website. And as always, check often.